Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV, gonna be casting the game between Liquid TLO and WhiteRa. It is a PvZ on Daybreak, a map where Protoss generally has a hard time taking the third base, but WhiteRa, he's kind of got it figured out. He is one of the few Protoss players who loves experimenting around, was the first one to use warp prisms in professional play. And now I think he's kind of got the third base figured out. If he ends up taking that, we will be talking about it. TLO, he's got a little bit of a weird style ZVP. Basically, it's just based upon counter attacks. Whenever his opponent moves out and he is going in to his opponent's bases to try to do some type of damage, it is all about multi-pronged and counter attacks on his opponent. Never really wants to engage head-on full army versus full army until he is at Hive Tech and can successfully win that fight every single time. When it's just down to his roaches and lings, he doesn't really like going against head-on against Protoss army just because I think maybe the force fields can kind of make it a little bit unpredictable. If the Protoss gets perfect force fields, you're just not going to win the battle majority of the time. The force fields do a huge thing and also allows the Protoss to disengage. So if the Protoss is smart, he shouldn't really lose a battle to just pure roaches unless it's like one of those max out strategies and like Stefano does. Stefano has good roaches. The odd thing that TLO did just do is go for a 13 drone scout and a 13 pool, it looks like. So this is a little bit of an odd build. If it was a 12 pool, I'd say this drone was to tell him if he has to build 6 lings or not, because the 12 pool kind of counters the Nexus first. So we'll see exactly what this one drone scout does. It was sent out at 13, and it's looking like maybe that will get there to block a Nexus first. WhiteRa, he wants to go for that Nexus first, and the drone gets there right as WhiteRa gets around 400 minerals, and now is going to be blocking this. Very nice play by TLO. That's why he sent out the drone a little bit early, and we can see WhiteRa going above 400 minerals right now. Really wants to get that Nexus up. Still the drone blocking it. Oh, WhiteRa's going up to 550 minerals. Decides, let's go for a Forge, but still has enough for that Nexus. So basically, WhiteRa just went for a Nexus first build by building a Forge first because he had 550 minerals when he built this Forge. So TLO did just slow down this Nexus very successfully, and WhiteRa didn't really get any tech out ahead of time, so he is just behind. There's no other way to look at it. Well, in this game, I don't know if he's actually behind, but he's behind on what a Nexus first should be. And now WhiteRa's, TLO's Overlords, one is going right here. The second Overlord looks like it's going behind this little mineral patch, behind the main base, to check the gas timing at the main. So TLO right now just wants to see all the gas timings from WhiteRa. We do see the cannon going down after the gateway, which means warp gates can be done around like 7:10, 7:15. He has to keep an eye on this one probe. The Ling will be chasing it out of the base, and another one is coming down, and the Ling will switch off. Will this probe now go back out on the map? I really wish TLO would keep one Overlord right here, but maybe he just really wants to see this gas timing. The good thing about the Overlord being right here is you can see if the probe does or does not go back home. If TLO didn't find the one probe with his Lings, there's always the chance it was out somewhere on the map. If he had the Overlord in this position, he'd say, okay, the probe didn't return home, so it's got to be around the map somewhere, and I have to look for a forward pylon. So that's what placing the Overlord right here does in ZVP. We do have this Overlord now going in, seeing the gas timing right now. WhiteRa only goes for one gas, isn't taking the double gas. And now the Overlord gonna keep on going, and well, there's no anti-air for a little bit. The sub-next squad just about finished, so the Overlord should be safe. And this one, Overlord, is going in now to check out the naturals, just in case WhiteRa decided to take one at each base. And TLO taking a really fast third base. This was built, looks like, around 430. And WhiteRa holding this one watched out with a Zealot did kill off a Ling, and now the third Overlord going to look at the third base timing of WhiteRa. Very nice play by TLO, very nice Overlord spread so early in the game, getting a really good scouting. And we'll see exactly what WhiteRa ends up doing. He isn't getting any upgrades on the Forge, only has one gateway and one gas, and that is what he's doing. Gonna be going for a really quick third base, and TLO immediately scouts that. And I don't think WhiteRa knows it's scouted, so TLO, I think the correct call in this position would be just to take a fourth base really early, because you know WhiteRa can't really put on any pressure, but WhiteRa is hitting off 2 Zealots right now, which means he's going to have no defense back at home, or no actual units for defense. He's going to be relying mainly on cannons. Possibly one cannon is going up, and at the third base, two cannons going to be going up at the third. TLO going to be moving out with his Lings. They don't have speed. TLO just now starting the speed, and maybe that's what told WhiteRa he could do this. The pool came down. There was no immediate gas. So he's like, okay, well, you're not going to have speed. You're not going to be aggressive. But TLO, he is going to be aggressive. But WhiteRa looks like he may just get these gateways up in time and fully walls in this one cannon. Pretty much the cannons go up, and now these Lings cannot do any damage. These will all could have been drones, but TLO decided to go for those Lings. What is he building now? Even more Lings. Has 28 on the way. Really wanted to do damage to this one base, but WhiteRa kind of juked TLO out right now by this, and that's what he ends up doing. WhiteRa gets his third base really early and kind of just entices an attack, but you can see his Sim City over at this third base is insanely good. And now he's building a robo facility at the third base. This may look like a little bit of an odd play, but the reason he does it is this third base is the one that is going to be under attack. This is the one he has to mainly defend against roaches. And if the robo facility is at this base, the Immortal is at this base when it pops out. So he's going to need that Immortal really early in case it is roaches, and being at this third base is really nice. If it was like back here, it has a long way to walk to this third base. If it's right here, it can easily defend the third base immediately because it's at the base, and then it doesn't have a long path to come back. And TLO now switching back up into drones. Force field does go down to protect this one cannon. Sentry will be taken out. TLO is not probably going to kill these cannons. Very well defended. Going on a hold position by these probes, killing off a lot of WhiteRa's probes, going up to 6. Maybe that isn't a lot considering how many Lings he did lose. That could have been drones. Now he has a bunch of Lings right here, looking like he wants to get a surround on these 4 Zealots. They don't know. They do have +1 upgrades now. TLO, though, is at 0-0, and WhiteRa going for a Warp Prism right now. Very nice call by WhiteRa. The reason why I think he's going for a Warp Prism is because he doesn't really have an army. If he moves out, he's going to get surrounded by Lings. So if he gets the one Warp Prism, then he can safely get to TLO's base, drop in the middle line, put a force field at the ramp, do things like that, and successfully do damage with minimal units. And I think that's what WhiteRa's main goal is, but TLO, he is going to be going up for Baneling Bust, and this could be extremely good on this one natural base. Not too much defense here. This third base would be a little bit hard to Baneling Bust with all those gateways. But the natural looking like it is primed to be Baneling Busted. We do have WhiteRa going for a Twilight Council already, even after the Robo Bait, plus this Gravatic Drive. We can really look at this army supply, and you can see 28 to 40. TLO way ahead, and he has 7 Banelings morphing in. Going to be sending him some Lings, taking out some probes, mainly just trying to pull WhiteRa's units back over here. He wants WhiteRa to pull back so his Banelings can go in, and actually, I thought he was going to go into the natural, but no, it looks like he's going to be going over into this base. This is a little bit of an odd call by TLO right now. Not exactly sure what he's expecting. It looked like he thought he could get around and go into the middle line, but WhiteRa has this completely walled off, so these Banelings couldn't do a single thing. Observe it now from WhiteRa, just going out to scout what is going on. The Zealot drop is over in this main base. WhiteRa has killed 7 drones, and it looks like he will be getting this one Queen. And yes, the Queen does go down. More Zealots being whooped in, but TLO has more than enough Lings to deal with this. And at the same time, TLO is not giving up the map control over at the middle of the map. More Zealots whooping in, and maybe TLO doesn't have more than enough Lings to deal with these Zealots. They just keep on coming, and those Zealots finally going to kill off all the Lings, forcing TLO to lose mining time, pull off, and now take all his Lings back. Banelings are coming in, and the Banelings just put an end to their Zealots' life. Lings coming in just in case another round of Warpins does come. WhiteRa is at 103 supply. TLO is at 89. TLO, though, is going for a Spire. Gonna be going up to Mutalisk play. WhiteRa gonna be going for a Dark Shrine right now. Not getting Blake, not getting charged. Going for a Dark Shrine, probably because, again, he doesn't have many units. So he's got to do plays that can inflict damage or force his opponent stay back at home while he gets up units. Because we can go back to this Army Supply tab, and actually WhiteRa's ahead because those Zealots was so darn effective against those Lings. And the Dark Shrine, I don't think he does need it. It was a good call in case that Warp Prism didn't do much damage. Now getting more Zealots, going to be putting this Warp Prism into the main base of TLO. Meanwhile, TLO gearing up to do another counterattack, but how can you counterattack this Sim City by WhiteRa over at this third base? This is insanely good building positioning, and we do have WhiteRa now with that War Prism speed. Gonna be dropping any time now into that one main base. Lings coming in to deal with this again. Lings are at 1-1 now. The Zealots are at 1-1 as well. Will take Zealots 3 shots to kill the Lings just because upgrades are even. At the same time, TLO is going to be doing hold position right here, killing off a handful of probes. But WhiteRa now going to be moving out with his entire army. We do have Mutalisks on the way, and WhiteRa, he only has 4 Stalkers. This is such a good read by TLO right now. Going with mainly just Lings, WhiteRa may be making a mistake saying, hey, you've just been using minerals for your army, not any gas. Where is all this gas going? Of course, it is going to be going into mutas, and TLO does have enough mutas to kill off these Stalkers, which means this force by WhiteRa most likely going to be dead when TLO decides to engage it. And here we go. The mutas now gathering up. Does have 18 mutas already out. Did lose that one base, but these mutas are going to be able to kill all the Stalkers and get a Colossus out. Force fields do go down. The mutas are going to be coming in and pick off all of these Stalkers. Actually, a lot more Stalkers have been warped in, but TLO has more than enough mutas to deal with that, it looks like. It's going to be not close. TLO will take out all of these Stalkers, and WhiteRa saying, okay, well, these units are as good as dead. Let me just go and try to do whatever damage I can do. And that was a small mistake by WhiteRa. With that one observer, did not scout the Spire. I believe I went over that in the Vision tab and looked at it, and it was not scouted until, well, he had just came in or saw the mutas, of course. So going into the workers killed, we do have WhiteRa with DTs over in the main base of TLO. 3 DTs though there. Overseer is morphing in. And this one DT is going to be dead very soon. Going to be tugging down these gases because this is very important for those mutas. Knows he can't get anything else, so he wants to go for those gases. Now going to be going for an evolution chamber. Would have been cool to see him get this other gas. 750 health versus 500. Wouldn't have taken it out anyways. And there's this one DT over at this one base, up to only 1 kill. So it didn't really do too much damage. We can see DTs are just everywhere right now. TLO is trying his best to deal with it. And there's no detection right at this one base, so this one DT is possibly going to kill off that one hatch. No, does live with 108 HP. TLO, though, does have a lot of mutas now. What has WhiteRa done behind those DTs? Keeping TLO at bay for a very long time. Has so many Stalkers, does have Blink, and that DT, this Dark Shrine, did just pay for itself right now. So what just happened is TLO, he killed off all the Stalkers, so there was like, okay, no more anti-air. That was his opportunity to go in and do harassment. However, WhiteRa behind that sent DTs everywhere, which forced the mutas to stay at home, which allowed WhiteRa to get up defenses to deal with mutas. Now we can go look in this main base. There's plenty of cannons here, so these Stalkers are going to be coming in to deal with the mutas. The mutas just picking off cannons, not getting to the middle line until the Stalkers already are there. You can see TLO just taking out as many probes as he can. Up to 31 workers killed. 231 bird players have killed an even number of workers. 56 drones to 66 probes. TLO, does he have this one gas back up? Yes, he does. But not getting another base just yet. Gonna be on a 3-base Mutalisk. And this could be relatively bad for TLO because he's gonna have to keep producing mutas. And when he keeps producing mutas, that means he's not going to have gas to do anything else. If he gets that gas number 7 and 8 from a 4th base, then that will allow him to tech and build mutas at the same time. Just on 3 base worth of gas, I don't think he's going to be able to tech behind this. And again, DTs are going to become, there are Lings there. They really want to take this base. You can see TLO immediately transfusing that just so the DTs don't have a chance. Mutas are going to take out that one warp prism. It does have the speed. The mutas just slightly were able to catch up to it. And now WhiteRa looks like he is going to be moving on out, doing a great job at keeping TLO back in his base. TLO can't really move out to do anything to WhiteRa, and now WhiteRa is getting a Templar Archives up, and if TLO doesn't do anything with these mutas, it's going to be a rough time for him just because they're not the best in large battles. And we do see him engaging head up. Doesn't have enough to take out these Stalkers. Stalkers are at 2-2. Mutas are at 1-0. Going to be turning around. Not the smartest idea by TLO. And again, there's 21 mutas out. He has lost a handful of them. But this is right now 2k gas in mutas. That means TLO, he can't use his gas to go up to a hive. I don't even think he has an infestation pit out yet. And Stalkers are just denying these mutas from doing any damage whatsoever. So TLO, he is in a very rough spot right now. WhiteRa's defense is stellar. However, TLO should be able to take more bases as long as he kills off everything around the map, all the like DTs and all the observers, so WhiteRa doesn't know where he's taking those bases. Was trying to get a gas, so did send a drone here, built a gas because the DT was there. The DT killed the drone, making the gas because the Dark Templar's DPS is extremely high, can out DPS a worker building a building. But TLO, there we go, double expand, gonna try to use these mutas to force WhiteRa to stay back at home. But WhiteRa is getting Storm out. Does he have any High Templars out? 4 High Templars already. Where are those guys at? They're not on hotkeys. So he should have 3 right here. And those will have energy to storm immediately. None over here. 1 right here at the natural. So that's where all 4 of his High Templars are. 3 in this one. Oh no, 1's moving. So it looks like this one is going to be going over to the main base. Dark Templar now going to be harassing this one base. TLO going to be getting an Overseer over there to deal with this one DT. Meanwhile, the mutas want to try to do some type of damage. But WhiteRa, he sees this coming, has the Stalkers in position again, will have Storm. These 2 Templars do have enough energy for Storm, and these mutas probably not going to be able to do the most damage. Storm does go down, kills off one of his workers so far, and this one Templar trying to get away, gets another Storm up, but you can see TLO only having 4 or 5 mutas there to eat the one Storm, and now he's coming in, since he's baited that energy off the High Templars, goes in, kills off 2 High Templars. Stalkers do blink. They're at 3-3 upgrades. Those mutas are at 2-0 right now. He is working on +1 care pace, is getting these gases up immediately as these bases do complete. Would be nice if he got the gases while the hatches were being built, because as I did stress earlier, TLO is very gas starved. You can see right now his army, 3,200 gas used in mutas, and still just going up. Still, I don't think he has infestation pit out. No, he doesn't, so he's nowhere near hive tech. He is banking on these mutas to win him the game. WhiteRa has a lot of High Templar out, 7 High Templar, 2 at this one base. Just keep them all over at each base so he can get those storms off, defend off the mutas, allowing his Stalkers, again, enough time to get there to defend. And also, even if mutas don't take the whole damage of Storm, generally it's going to do at least 20 damage, so eventually the mutas are not going to have any health to keep on doing this. Now TLO going to be splitting up his mutas to deal with that 1 High Templar. And now, again, keeping his mutas split up, and this is what TLO has to do. This is nice splitting by TLO. Now climbing them back up as he did see Stalkers already there. We do have WhiteRa gearing up to take a 5th base. TLO, though, already on 5 bases, not mining out of this one gas. That may be a small mistake, but he is very well balanced on his econ. Mutas still haven't really done any damage whatsoever. There are a lot of workers killed, 31, but that's not from the mutas. We do have now an Archon being morphed in, actually 2 Archons being morphed in, and WhiteRa going for Protoss Air Armor with shield level 2, so we'll see exactly where WhiteRa does end up teching. Stalker's going to blink underneath the mutas, and now the mutas are going to be retreating as the Archon does come, gets a nice volley off on those mutas, another volley. You can see all those mutas in the red back there, and TLO is forced to pull on back. These mutas, again, not the best at engaging. Heads up. He has to do some type of damage, but WhiteRa has just completely shut down TLO's mutalisk play, and now TLO has not only 3,600 gas, going to be soon like 4,300 gas or 4,200 gas in mutas, but that's also going to be like 80 supply of his army in mutas, which basically is 100%. Oh no, he has 35 lings out and 2 banelings, but majority of his supply will be these mutas, which means he's not going to be that good in a fight. So many cannons out by WhiteRa. Mutas coming back in and will be backing on off. We do have WhiteRa now trying to head off those mutas, because if he can blink under them, he can do a lot of damage to this and then just keep on pressing forward. It looks like WhiteRa almost ready to just move out. He has a lot of defense back at home. You can see all these cannons, even a Templar here in the worker mix. Gimli coming in, taking out a few mutas. 32 mutas out right now. TLO is going up to a hive right now. Going to be getting another Spire so he can keep with the upgrades while he goes up into Broodlords, because his upgrades are behind. WhiteRa is at 3-2-3. Now he's going to take out this one base. TLO going to be sacrificing the base because he has all the spine claws right here, and going to be going for the counterattack. Storm goes off, but that was a horrible storm. Another miss by WhiteRa. These mutas are going to be coming in. Now going to be able to do some type of damage. Attacking this natural may not be the best idea. Want to go for the 4th and 5th base. That was a little bit better, but you can see TLO has such a good spread on his mutas now. Going to be magic boxing them around while the spread. Very nice job. Deals with this base. Doesn't eat any damage from Storm. WhiteRa going to be coming in to take out TLO's 4th base, I should say. Muta's going to take out this base, but TLO, he's not going to be mining very soon. This will be his only mining base, and WhiteRa looks like he will be able to take that out. Mothership does come out. TLO will instantly kill it. The Storm does go down. TLO does back off. Another Storm goes down, dealing a lot of damage to those mutas. You can see now no muta is at full health. They're all at least at 75% health, and that count has dropped significantly. And TLO going to be GGing as well. He does see this one base, sees all the cannons with the Archons, like, okay, I cannot deal with this base. Good game. TLO's muta play did not pay off. WhiteRa with a stellar defense. I can't say that enough. Very well played by WhiteRa. Hope you enjoyed the game. Again, not going to do a replay. I'm going to play Diablo 3, honestly. I only got to play 2 hours yesterday because, well, I couldn't take off of work, unfortunately, so I can only get, like, an hour or 2 of Diablo in a day, which is going to have to suffice until the weekend, so take care. See you guys tomorrow.